Good morning and welcome back. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone to where you two are having what I call a intellectual exchange? They're pouring into you, you're pouring into them, they're giving, you're receiving, you're giving, they're receiving. I mean, it's iron sharpening iron. I mean, you guys are having a healthy exchange. And then somewhere in the midst of that conversation, you realize that this other person has upped their game a little bit. They're talking a little bit above your head. Instead of you telling them, hey, could you repeat that? Could you, maybe dummy that down just a little bit for me? I mean, can you explain that just a little bit different? Because I'm not getting, I'm not grasping that. What you do is you go inward and you become lost in the conversation. And so all you find yourself doing is stuff like, yeah, okay, See, it's just a lopsided conversation now because you're no longer conversating, you're just agreeing because you're too prideful to just simply say, "Hey, could you just rewind this for a moment? Just yeah, break that down for me just for a little bit." You feel lost in the conversation, and when you feel lost, you feel like you're inside of your head and you're asking yourself, "Where am I in this conversation? I mean, where did we move to that I didn't move with this individual? Am I lacking something?" See, there we go. See, you're lost and you feel like you're lacking something. And those are twins. Because whenever you feel lost, you're lacking. And whenever you feel like you're lacking, you're lost. And so when you're lacking, you feel like you're deficient in an area, that you don't have enough, that there's something missing. But see, when we get lost, it's like life. We get lost in life. And we all get lost in some moments of life. But some of you are lost in life because you're lost in here, in your head, you're thinking, and you won't come out. You get so lost, you get so trapped that you can't see your way out. Now, there's many ways of being lost in life. That's just one. Come with me to the book of Luke, chapter 15, verses 1 through 24. Now, I'm not going to read all these verses. I'm going to really stay focused on verse 8, 9, and 10. But let me highlight some of these stories because there's three stories I want you to really get familiar with. And the first story is the story of the lost sheep. You know, there's a shepherd who has 100 sheep and he loses one. And we're told that he leaves the 99 and he goes after the one. It's significant. That one is important to him. And so he goes after the one and he finds the one. And then we're told that he picks the one up, the sheep, and puts it on his shoulder. And he comes back all rejoicing and happy that he's found the one. Now, most of us not going to pick up no sneaky sheep and put it on our shoulders. But see, you don't understand intimacy when you've lost something and you desperately are seeking for it. See, their sheep is their livestock, but also this is family. This is how my family survives. So he's coming back gung-ho, happy, and he tells everybody, hey, come out, let's celebrate. Come party with me, because that which was lost is now found. What a beautiful experience. He said, but Donnie, I can't relate to putting a sheep up on. Well, oh, yes, you can, because most of you have pet animals. You have a dog or a cat. Because I know you do, because I see posters all around and I see on social media when you've lost them. I mean, you're talking about, I'll give you 2,000, 5,000 for my, and so let's be for real. And if you find that lost dog, that dog is going to jump up in your lap and you're going to hug and kiss and you're going to lick all on you and you're all going to be intimate. That's the same way it is with that shepherd and the sheep. And then there's a story of the prodigal son in the Bible. We know that he told his father, hey, give me my inheritance and let me get up out of here. You know, I'm grown. let me go be grown. And so he took his grown self and he wasted all of his money. And we're told that he was in the hog pen with the hogs and he came to himself. He found himself. And he made the statement that at least my father's servant has it way better than this. So let me go back to my father. And let me just ask to be a servant. Let me just go back and just be in his presence because it's way better than this. And so he goes back home. Now, this is the intriguing part, and you have to catch this. When he comes back home, his father tells the servant, he says, go and bring forth the best robe and put it on him. He says, and put a ring on him. You know, I'm going to fix him up. It's my boy. He says, and put some shoes on his feet. Watch this, watch this. The father has set the atmosphere. He didn't say just go and make a robe. No. He didn't say go and make a ring. He didn't say go make any shoes. He said, no, go put that stuff I prepared for him. Listen to this. See, he's prepared for his son coming home. He put it in the atmosphere. You know, I used to say, put it in the atmosphere, speak it, and it will come. Well, his father said, go get that stuff I prepared, because I've been waiting for a day such as this. Wow. The father had enough intention to anticipate his son coming home. Most of you, you're making statements like, well, I'm praying that God will bring him home. I'm praying that someone will witness to him. Well, you know, when he finally bump his head enough, he'll come home. He'll come to his senses. Well, are you preparing anything though? What are you doing? I mean, you know what he's probably doing or what she's doing, but what are you doing? Are you just waiting? The father wasn't waiting. The father was preparing. That's the difference. I pray that you start preparing for your wayward child, your wayward husband, your wayward wife to come home. The father makes a statement that my son was dead and is alive. When you're lost, when you're missing in your family, it's like a death. All of those of you who walked away and you think, oh, mom and me doing okay. No, it's like a death. But when you return, it's like a resurrection. And that's why it's so important to go after the one. Because the whole family is mourning and grieving, not just one. And here we find ourselves in verse 8. Either what woman having 10 pieces of silver, if she lose one piece, doth not, watch this, light a candle, sweep the house. Kind of sounds like a Teddy Pendergrass song, don't it? And seek diligently till she finds it. Verse 9. And when she had found it, she called her friends and her neighbors together, saying, rejoice with me, for I have found the piece which I had lost. Verse 10. Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner. Heaven rejoices over one saved soul. Someone gets saved in front of us, and we say amen. We become so common. We say amen, we get in our car and we go home. There's no celebration. We might pat him on the back, but there's no celebration. When I got saved, they'd always take you out to dinner and they celebrate with you all night long. I mean, they'd really show you the love. Let me tell you what's happened. We've created a society. We've done it to ourselves. But we've created a society where human trafficking is a profitable business. $150 billion year business. That's what it is. A child goes missing every 40 seconds. That's 2,100 children every single day. More than 800,000 children are missing every year. And then there's 500 missing children that are not reported. But there's a movie called The Sound of Freedom. It's a true story of the life of Tim Ballard, who is an American activist. He's a speaker. He's an author. Tim worked for the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, as a special agent in the United States Department of Homeland Security. He is the founder and former CEO of Operation Underground Railroad, OUR, an anti-sex trafficking organization. Tim Ballard quit his job because he got tired of all the red tape. Isn't it something? You got all these missing children all over the world, and there's so much red tape, so much politics involved that it makes it challenging to go and rescue them. I mean, it's hard to find them, but it's even harder to rescue them because of the different countries and their rules and their policies. But Tim is credited with saving over 120 children. The story takes off with this young girl named Rico, 11 years old. And she sings and plays this little drum. I mean, she has this beautiful voice like an angel. It's amazing who they use. They use this young lady, beautiful young lady, who's a model. She was one of these Miss Americas, if you will, Miss Columbia. And she's on this brochure, a beautiful brochure. I mean, it's just professionally done, all inside and everything. It shows you how much big money's behind this. And she comes to the young girl's house and she talks to her father. He's a single parent. He has the daughter Rico, and he also has a son named Miguel. And so Roberto, who's the father, he decides to allow his children to go audition, if you will, to be a part of this talent agency, because let's be for real. When people are desperate, they do desperate things. They take desperate steps. And so he drives them there. And when he gets ready to go in the door with the children, she tells him, no, 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 you can't come in. This is for all the children. She's got about 12 children in the room. And so he steps back and he says, cool. She says, come back at 7 p.m. Now, that's a sign right there. That's a warning right there. I mean, all these are warning signs, but you know, you don't see that when you're desperate. And so he leaves and he comes back, and you know what's happened, right? That was all just a front. Everybody's gone. The building is vacated. And all 12, 15 of these children are gone as well. And this white van, beware of white vans. Always beware of white vans. So the father, Roberto, is tore up from the floor. It just so happened, though, that Tim is working on a case, and he's chasing Miguel. He's looking for Miguel. And so he finds Miguel at the Tijuana border in Mexico, and he rescues him. And so Tim is happy. He's celebrating. He's found the one. And then Miguel tells him, but my sister is missing also. And so he gets with the father, Roberto, and gives him his son, Miguel. And Miguel has been violated, by the way. But he still has a great spirit. Now, we don't know what's going to happen mentally, psychically over the years, but he has been rescued. Keep in mind, these children are not lost. They've been taken. It's a big difference. They've been taken. They're not lost. They didn't run away. Some might, but these children have been taken. So now Tim has to put together a plan to find 11-year-old Rico. And so to make a long story short, he finds her. Now, he goes through hell and high water to find her, through all the red tape. When he finds her, he finds, I think, about 20, 30, maybe 50 different children with her. And so he rescues all these children. But keep in mind, I told you it's a $150 billion business. So it's not easy to get out. But he does. Now, what am I trying to say? Tim has a family, I think about 6 or 7 children at home in the United States. He leaves the 99 and goes after one, your daughter, your son. It's been said that this is a lost generation. And so many people are buying into that statement. But truth be told, this is not a lost generation. However, it is a taken generation. This culture has taken our babies. And it's taken some of you as well. That's what we're dealing with. When you look at all the crime, when you look at all the adultery, all the fornication, when you look at all these fleshly issues, when you look at gender issues, when you just look at same-sex marriage, when you look at everything from anything, from A to Z, it's all on board. It's all on deck. It's all a part of this culture, all of it. You name it, devil worship, it's here. So when you talk about lost, no. These kids are not lost. They've been taken. No. Your parents are not lost. They've been taken. And that's worse than being lost, because if you're lost, I can find you. But if you've been taken, that's pretty tough. You have 48 hours to get it correct. And most of us haven't got it correct in 48 years. So no, it's not a lost generation. It's a taken generation. It's our responsibility to step up. We should be taking things by force. We will allow the devil, we will allow the enemy and his demons to flip it to where he's been taking it by force. Because we're participating in this taken generation, in this taken culture. When you think about it, you know who's really lost? It's the adults. Yes, it's grown folks. That's who's really lost. I mean, when you really give a thought to it, children can't really traffic children. They don't have the, the skill sets, if you will. They don't have the funds, if you will, because it's a big machine. I told you, 150 billion is made each year. And so these are grown folks. These are individuals who have the means to do evil stuff. The children, they're not lost, they're taken. And it's by grown folks who set up a whole scheme, if you will. They have a whole plan, a whole process of how to maneuver in and out to get these kids. And it's happening on our watch because we see something, but we're not saying anything. We're allowing grown folks to be bullies, if you will, in this environment. And they're snatching our kids away. They're snatching away their innocence because of our silence. But that's who's lost. It's the grown folks who are lost. They've lost their mind. Yeah, they've lost their appetite for natural things, and so they're chasing unnatural things. And we're being quiet. We're being silent. I know there's a whole team working out there, but we all should be working. When it comes to our children, we should all be working. We should put them out of business is what we should be doing. Who do you think own all these barges and freight liners and airplanes? Who do you think is coming across the border? It's not children coming across with children. It's grown folks. Who owns the infrastructure? I mean, you got executives in business suits downtown who have an appetite to violate children. You have individuals who are teaching Sunday school, individuals who are teaching at school, individuals who are bringing you your mail. I mean, it's an appetite all over this world for evilness. And so it walks in every avenue of life, playing basketball, playing football. I mean, this is what evil does. It shows up everywhere. I mean, you married to somebody for 20 years and you don't realize they're a pedophile. That's what evil does. But you've seen something and you haven't said anything. God made it very clear. To the least of one of these that you've done something to, that you've hurt these children, you've done it to him. And he's going to pay you. This world is going to pay. We've allowed too many children to be harmed because of our lust, because of our void. And we're trying to fill it with something. So we think this is the way to fill it. No, it's not. All you're doing is hurting someone. You're taking away their innocence. And you're going to pay for that. I mean, you have to realize that these children are physically saved, but mentally, they're probably still lost. Emotionally, they're probably still lost. I mean, when they go home now, they probably have 10 deadbolt locks on the doors. You can't even think about telling them about stranger danger. They are more aware than anyone right now. And it's sad because you've taken their life, their innocence of life away. They just can't roam around freely. Every child should have a life where they can roam around freely and enjoy life. But now they're cautious of everyone. They trust no one. See, that's what takes place when you allow your children to be taken, when you allow your children to be lost. I know sometimes it's not in our control, but a lot of time it is. I've seen so many children walk in the streets all by themselves, all times of day, all times of night. And I understand you work and you can't be home with them, but you can always make it to where it's a safe environment for them. That's your responsibility. The Lord has made a safe environment for you. You should make that same for your child. Who in your family is lost right now? Are you preparing for them to return? Have you set up the atmosphere? I told you it's a $150 billion business when it comes to human trafficking. And some of our children just simply have walked away and just doing their own thing. But we've been told that if you see something, you should say something. How many people do you think seen something that didn't say nothing? Well, you know, they ain't my business. I don't want to get involved. You know how we are. And don't get me wrong, I understand in some cases. But to see these children and they look out of place and we don't say anything, shame on us. I don't want to get involved. I don't want to be, hey, that's their business. That's not my business. But the right thing is to say something or to do something. And that's the subject of this particular conversation, lost and found. If you're riding a bus, a city bus, and you leave something on that bus and you call them and ask them, hey, did you see this item on the bus route? They'll tell you, we have a lost and found department for that. They'll give you the number. If you leave your glasses at the movies, they'll tell you we have a lost and found department for that. If you leave an item at the concert, they'll tell you we have a lost and found department. If you leave your luggage or something on their airplane, they'll tell you we have a lost and found department for that. Some of you have lost your life and social media. There's no lost and found department for that. Some of you have taken on the personalities of influencers and celebrities, and you're emulating their life, and you forfeited your life. And so now you're lost in their life because you're lost in your life. And you're trying to be like them, and it's like you can't be them. It's impossible. But you've lost yourself in that social media world, if you will. And you can't find yourself getting out. All you're doing is trolling and stalking them, and you're living their life. And your life has been forfeited. What a sad day we live in. But God tells us, for the Son of Man has come to save that which was lost. I pray you let him in. I pray you let him save you. Lord, thank you for finding my lost and sinful soul. Thank you for making me your son. God, thank you for the rejoicing in heaven that happened when I, by your grace, because it's by your grace, turned from my sin and myself and trusted in Jesus as my Savior and Lord. Father, I thank you for saving me, because God's children are not for sale. You be blessed and have a great day.